In case you're struggling with Parajumbles, then maybe this video can help you. We know that Parajumbles can be presented with options and without options. When they're presented without options, they are called type in the answer or TITA questions. Needless to say, TITA questions can be challenging, and therefore, you might need to take a few extra steps to ensure that your accuracy increases. What are these steps? Let's take a look. The first thing that you need to understand is that you may not be able to form the sequence at one go. The first thing that you need to do is to look for the starter sentence. Now, the starter sentence is usually a standalone sentence that announces the topic. Sometimes, the question that you get may not have an obvious starter, which is absolutely fine. You have to be okay with uncertainty. Now, perhaps you have found multiple starters or perhaps you've not found a starter. Either way, you need to proceed to step 2. Step 2 is where you find mandatory pairs. Now, what is a mandatory pair? Two sentences that are supposed to be together. They're supposed to be placed consecutively. So, how do you find mandatory pairs? Go back and study some of the linking strategies that you might have been taught. But otherwise, in general, look for transition words or phrases and look for pronoun hints. Usually, these are very helpful when looking for sentences that go together. And the last thing that you need to do is to ensure that you do not force the sequence. What I mean by that is that a lot of times you might find out that A is the starter. You also know that C and D go together, but you don't know what to do with B. And it is at this stage that most of us go wrong with Parajumbles. Instead of looking at alternative sequences, we look for one particular spot that feels right to us. Now, this is where you need to be open to multiple possibilities. Consider placing B in one spot and then another and check which makes more sense. At this stage, if you're not absolutely certain of your answer, that's fine because there will be no negative marking in the case of a TITA question. If there is negative marking, of course, please do not guess. Nevertheless, make sure that you do not spend excessive amounts of time trying to finalize your sequence. And finally, practice makes perfect. In the case of Parajumbles, it may not make you perfect, but it will definitely help you get better. So keep practicing.